Hey guys, you're watching We Game, the only weekly gaming news show that takes year-long breaks. Now, I quit the show about a year ago, and the reason being is because it wasn't getting the views that a normal video would get on my channel, and we also lost our sponsor for the show. So without a sponsor financially backing in, without it getting very many views, I felt like it was time to retire the show. Well, we recently had somebody step in and decide they want to sponsor the show again, and that is Crunchyroll.com, and I will go into the spiel at the end of the video. I won't bore you with it now, but for the core audience who really missed this show, good news, it's back. First thing I wanted to do this week was talk about my final opinion of No Man's Sky. And I did praise this game quite a bit when it first came out. I played it on PlayStation 4, and it ran fairly well, though it crashed from time to time. And I was pretty impressed with the first 2 hours. And I think everybody that plays it is impressed with the first 2 hours. Once I really dug into the meat of this game, I did realize that it is a mile wide, but only a few feet deep. Somebody said that in my chat, and I think that's exactly the best way to describe it. On the surface, it's a pretty interesting game. Depth-wise, it's not very good. And it's certainly, I don't think, in the state that it released in, should have been worth $60. This is definitely a game that you should pick up at some point and play, but it really would have been better off as a $20 indie title. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of controversy about the game, talking about Sean Murray lying about the features that were going to be in the game. I still believe that those were features he intended to put in the game, but simply ran out of time even with the delay. I feel that that's stuff that may come eventually. It'll also come with a cheaper price tag where you can pick it up on Steam sale or maybe even a PlayStation cheaper when that time comes. There's also rumors about paid DLC. I don't think I would buy DLC for this. The good news is there's plenty of free DLC being created on the PC market by modders who are making this game more interesting and more fun to play. And I think that's great. I think it's definitely a game that you should experiment with and play at some point, but it's not a game you need to spend $60 on today. Definitely wait for them to put more into the game, let it get patched more, give it some time, and let the price drop. Next up, I'd like to talk about the PlayStation 4, and real quick, let me say, a lot of people think I'm a PlayStation fanboy. They confuse the fact that I'm actually a PC fanboy. But I will tell you that very recently, the only contact I have at PlayStation, the only person that I can reach out and speak to at that company, has recently left. Adam Boyes has moved on to what he, I guess, considers to be greener pastures. That means me and PlayStation are completely separated. I do not even have somebody I can call there. I could call Major Nelson tomorrow if I wanted to, but I have nobody to reach out to at PlayStation. So the misconception that I'm some sort of Sony pony could not possibly be more overblown. So this is a picture of the supposedly real PlayStation Slim, and this is supposed to be in stores come this fall. It's fairly similar to the Xbox One S in that it's got slightly better features, but it's just a slimmer package of the existing PlayStation 4. And while I think that's a great idea, there's also rumors that the PlayStation Neo project, or Project Neo, will also drop this fall, and I think that kind of thing would be very confusing for consumers. If the regular PlayStation is on the shelf, the PlayStation Slim is on the shelf, then the higher priced Neo is also on the shelf. I think they're looking at building a bit of a clusterfuck, especially considering PlayStation VR is supposed to launch at the exact same time. That's a lot of new SKUs at Walmart. Here's my major concern though. The PlayStation Neo definitely has some pretty low-end specs compared to the specs that have been released for the Xbox's Scorpio. If the Xbox's Scorpio is supposed to be the next and potentially final iteration of the Xbox One, then PlayStation Neo needs to be the exact same thing. It needs to be on par with the PlayStation Scorpio, and the release specs that are out there right now are simply not it. If that is the case, Neo will be a huge flop, and what I would expect from this is basically, while PC will still probably always be on top, I would expect Xbox to finally close the gap between PlayStation because the PlayStation Neo will be a failure. If this is coming out this fall, I really hope the guys at PlayStation are going to delay the Neo another year to release at the same time as Scorpio, and in doing so, make sure that the machine is as powerful as Scorpio. Now, it might be perfectly too late to backstep on that. There might already be millions of units already sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and they have to push it out there. But if they do, I think it's going to be the biggest flop in this generation for PlayStation. Maybe as bad as the PlayStation 3. Here's the thing about Project Neo and Project Scorpio. They are kind of the PCification of the consoles. And I guess really Apple did it first and did it best when they made sure that everything you ever put on an iPod worked on next few generations of iPod. Same with the iPad, same with the iPhone. I think that that's a good way to do it. And we've always had that with our Steam library. If you bought a game 12 years ago, you can still play it today. With console generations, you couldn't do that. 360 games were not always playable on the next generation. PlayStation 2 games were not always playable on the PlayStation 3, and so on and so forth. That's something I think they're looking to cure here. They want to sell new hardware, but they don't want to have to make you take all of your games and sell them at GameStop for pennies. This is an opportunity for gamers to get the benefit of what we have on PC, even if it does cost them a little extra money if they want the best graphics every few years. But it gives you options. You can still play on an older machine and play 98% of the games, but if you want the best graphics, if you want the best high-end, you'll be able to purchase new hardware, and you also will not have to sacrifice your gaming library. And I think console players will realize that's a good thing eventually, but I see a lot of people complaining about new hardware and having to spend more money. That's the best part. You don't have to. You can still play 98% of the games that will come out on those machines, possibly all of them for quite some time going forward. It may not look as great, but it'll be available. Same as PC. And maybe, just maybe, some people who are glued to their console of choice might decide to go forward with a PC, because with these changes, you're getting a lot of the downsides, which is the extra cost, without all of you're keeping all the limitations that a console gives you, where you wouldn't have to have that with PC. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can play however you want to play. It's nice to see console players having more options. Well, here's a little bit of good news. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is reviewing very, very well. Not as well as other games in the series, but still very, very well for a game to be coming out in 2016. And this is a big surprise after the huge marketing fail where you could augment your pre-order. It looks like the game is coming out all in one piece. It's coming out with very good fanfare, and they allowed very early reviews, almost a week in advance of the release of the game. The PC version here is setting at 83. I believe the PlayStation 4 version is setting at 84. This will be my very first Deus Ex game, and I've been told by a few people that this is a good place to start with. A lot of the reviews say that the old school annoying bosses are gone. The way to play the game any way that you want is still there, and the storyline is pretty interesting this time around. I'm hoping the game is good. I'm really hoping the game is good. I think that's the game I'll be streaming this week moving forward, and I hope it's really good. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I'm sure I missed something important, and if I did, let me know in the comments section below. Do you like the format of the show? Do you like the changes I've made to it if you've ever seen the old one? If you haven't seen the old one, or do you look forward to it coming back? Do you like what I've done here today? Would you like to see more of it? Please let me know in the comments section below. Now, the whole reason this show finally got to come back is because we do have a sponsor who's going to sponsor an episode or two probably every once in a while, and that's Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, if you guys don't know, is an opportunity for you to stream anime, both a huge back catalog as well as current stuff as recent as an hour after it comes out in Japan. It's professionally subtitled, no dubs as far as I can tell. Recently, I've been watching Food Wars on there because that's the show you recommended for me, and I find it to be very, very weird, but entertaining in its weirdness. Anime has never really been a thing that I was that crazy about, but now that I'm able to use Crunchyroll, which is a great streaming service that works very, very well, I have really been enjoying myself. I'm always looking for more recommendations of what to watch, though, and I'd love it if you'd let me know what to watch in the comments section below. When I'm done with Food Wars, what should I move on to? And if you wanted to get a month of Crunchyroll for yourself, you'd be helping me out at the same time. Just go to crunchyroll.com/boogie, and the link will be in the description box and maybe in the comments as well. If you use that link to sign up for a month of free streaming anime, I'll make some money and you'll save some money. But no, you never have to do that. I just appreciate you listening to the pitch. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the series coming back. Let me know. Thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you very soon. Till then, game on.